So, Love Island episode 30 and 31, since we're coming to the end and there's really not a whole lot going on, so I'm combining the episodes. But this episode here is Kata being upset about them being in the bottom. Tierra and KC still can't believe they're not in the bottom, but they're happy. I still can't believe how that happened, but this was the worst part of the whole thing because now Melanie thinks that we think that her and Sincere are a great couple. And that's not it at all. Well, I don't know. Well, I know I don't. I don't know what happened with the voting, but Zach is all sad because he thinks he's the reason that they're on the bottom, and he is correct. I'm glad he's self aware. Kata cannot believe that I think Tierra and Casey and also Melanie and Sincere like made it over them. Like she cannot wrap her mind around that. Here, Zach was talking to Bryce about him and Kata, and he was saying how he wants to, I think, like make it exclusive event or something like that. And Zach was like, or not Zach, but Bryce was like, "Do you think maybe that's why you guys are like ranked? Why that the public thinks that because you won't, you're not boyfriend and girlfriend, or you won't make it official." Later on, Bryce tells Zach that he and Trinity, they did the deed. So they're getting ready to go to bed, and Casey and Tierra are talking, and she's like, "I thought America hated us," and Casey said, "They probably still do." Here, Carl was telling Anaya that she's beautiful. I think that's what was going on in the scene. Kata breaks down because she's upset that they were in the bottom, but if she only knew it's not her, it's Zach. But her feelings are hurt. Good job, guys. Dylan's talking to Carl about Kinsey, and I don't know. Their drama is so uninteresting. The girls get a mission where they have to have the guys do some things. It was just a little filler episode. It was, I mean, showing that they were having fun, but they were on a mission. Like one of one of the girls, you had to have a guy put makeup on you, and the other one you had to like ask for a drink and send it back. Melanie did that one, and it was just a little game with no. I don't think there was any real prize, but the girls did pull it off. Oh, this was funny because Trinity had to get the guys to all say French fry. So she was like asking everybody if they like French fries, so, and they would say, "Yeah, I like French fries," or "No, I don't like French fries," or something. And so then when she asked Sincere, she said, "Do you like French fries?" He's like, "I like French fries." And then, of course, in Sincere fashion, he had to start talking because he thinks he's very intelligent, and so he thinks he's a wordsmith when he isn't. So he started talking. He was like, "Yeah, I like French fries," and then he started talking to Trinity. He was like, "That's enough." She was like, "End of the conversation," or something like that. Like, Sincere, stop talking because it's not. You're. I promise you, you're giving the opposite of what you think you are. So Kata was talking to Tierra, and Tierra was trying to tell her. She said, or she did tell her. She said, "Well, I can tell you what I saw because remember, she saw the episodes before she came on the show." And she said she mentioned when after they were intimate, and then he was talking about hooking up with Casa girls, or yeah, Casa girls, and she didn't want to hear it. Kata didn't want to hear it. She's like, "But that was early on." But she's trying to tell you why people don't like him. But Tierra didn't push anymore. She just kind of left it alone once Kata didn't seem interested. And I wanted Kata to tell Zach that. Why is anybody asking Sincere for any sort of advice? Kinsey and Dylan, this whole back and forth with him talking about how he doesn't trust her, or what she's doing. You saw the show. You saw how Kinsey was moving before you came on the show. So either you thought you were just special and different. I don't know. But this conversation needs to end. They need to stop having this. And at this point, I'm not even a big Kinsey fan, but she's got to be tired of this. If I was her, I'd be done. I can't with these two. Like now they're in just this great place and everything's just great. I think here's when Zach tells Kata he wants to be exclusive and only see her, but not be boyfriend and girlfriend yet. More of Kizzy trying to reassure Dylan, and that's how this episode ended. So the episode 31 starts with them again, and she's telling him she doesn't know how much more she can say to him. Girl, get up and leave. But you know it's towards the end, and she's probably trying to stick it out. I don't even think she likes Dylan anymore, not even a little bit. But it's the end of the show, so she's what else is she gonna do? Kate Kata gets a text and it says the hideaway is open, and they pick Sincere and Melanie. I thought for sure it was going to be Bryce and Trinity, but Sincere and see this whole Sincere thing is and Melanie is going too far. Like, how in the world does anybody want them together? I don't understand it. And I saw online too. They have quite a few people who want them to be together. I don't get it. Ooh, I mean, what? I don't know. This was funny because when they talked about the hideaway before, they said Sincere and Melanie. Dylan had the nerve to say to Kenzie, "Should we plead our case or make our case?" And she just was so dismissive of him, like, mm-mm. And it was like she doesn't. I could tell, like she's probably like, after all this we're going through, you think I want to go in the hideaway with you? After all this questioning and badgering you're doing, you think I want to go? I'm telling you, she don't like him. Melanie is just beaming about going into the hideaway. And her looking at her right now after all that crying and yelling at him she did, like I feel like okay, so remember when in the beginning when she was mad at Bea and she was like, give me 10 or whatever went on with them and she was coming off a little crazy. This is what this is giving for me. Like you did all that fussing and all that crying and I mean it was a lot. And you meant it to take him back this soon too, like or just even want to deal with him period. It's so all the couples are kind of reminiscent or like and or just talking about their relationships, and Bryce and Trinity are talking about theirs and about the distance. And Bryce is like, you know, we can make anything work, and Trinity agrees, and she said, I you know I really care about you, and they're just talking about how much they like each other. Carlin and I are talking, and they're also talking about the distance and how they can make it work. And she was saying how she can go to Denver, I think, because he's going to be in PT school. And she said that's what she'll do. And I know she likes him in the villa, but for some reason, I feel like when they get out, um, she's going to I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know if they'll make it. I feel like if they don't, it'll be Anaya who has who makes the change. But I hope they do because I really like Carl for her and I like them together. But I don't know. Kata tells Trinity that they are that she's exclusive with Jack Zach, and Trinity's like wanted to be happy for it. She's like, "What does that mean?" And she's like, "That we're just exclusive. We're not boyfriend girlfriend, but we're exclusive with each other." And Trinity said, "Bitch, that's a situationship." And Kata was like, "No, it's not." So Zach asks Carl if he has a type, it was almost like a proposition. But anyway, he told him, yeah, tall, athletic girls. And he said, so basically Anaya. And he was like, yeah, she's perfect or something like that. So Anaya gets a text in the middle of the night. And so she has to get the girls up and sneak and wake them up. And surprisingly, she woke all the girls up without waking up the guys. And then they had to go into the hideaway and go get Melanie. And they had to get dressed and they went to a water park. The guys woke up and they were like, "Oh, the girls are gone." And um, Zach wasn't missing the girls. Nobody was really missing the girls except maybe Bryce and I think Dylan might have said something. And the guys were talking about how they never really eat breakfast and they never really do that. They don't every morning. And Zach was kind of happy he didn't have to do it this morning and just get his own coffee. And Bryce was like, but isn't it nice to like take care of someone? I like taking care of someone. And then all of a sudden Zach was like, yeah, it's nice to take care of someone. So when Sincere came out of the hideaway and said, and Melanie was gone, and Dylan was like, if that was me, I'd think I was so terrible that she left. Of course you would think that, Dylan. My gosh, he's so insecure. Like, what the heck? But anyway, that's typical Dylan.